Trojan family, Trojan gang. Fight on forever's in the building. And today we gonna talk about what's the most important players for USC to win 10 plus games or more, to have a successful season, to possibly make the playoffs, right? And I've been thinking like, what would ensure USC to be a 10-win team and possibly make the playoffs? So I feel like the offensive line gonna do well enough for Miller Moss and the running backs to do their thing. I feel like the offensive line gonna be decent. Lincoln Riley play calling. I know it's gonna be a lot of quick pass game. They gonna want to get the ball out quick, halfback screens, so keep defensive line where their ears ain't peeled back. I feel like the offense is gonna be more balanced this year, especially with Miller Moss at quarterback. I think we gonna be damn near 50-50 when it comes to pass and run, right? I feel like we're gonna have to have that balance in the Big Ten, and I feel like they gonna want our offense and defense to complement each other, right? So I feel like we gonna see a different offense this year, but it's still gonna be an explosive offense, right? And I feel like the offensive line ain't gonna hinder that. I feel like the offensive line gonna be decent. I like Elijah Page. I like Pregnon potential. And Jonah is an NFL type lineman. Only body I'm really worried about is Mason Murphy protecting, at the tackle position. Alani Noah, he's young. I'm just worried about how fast he gonna get up to speed. I know it's gonna be a learning curve for Alani Noah, so it's gonna be interesting to see how quickly he could get up to speed. But I think they're gonna be fine. I think Miller Moss is gonna be decent. He's a cerebral quarterback, and that's perfect for a Lincoln Riley system, which is a cerebral system, a very tactical system. So he gonna be playing chess. I feel like mentally, Miller Moss is really going to be able to run this offense, and he got an arm and he got accuracy. So I see success for Miller Moss. I see 30 plus touchdowns for Miller Moss, 30 at minimum, for real. I see Miller Moss throwing 30 touchdowns this year, right? The running game going to be nice. Woody Marks, Quentin Joyner, I like that duo. Woody Marks, receiving type back. Very explosive. Get him in the open field. He can make plays. Quentin Joyner, between the tackles in, he can bounce outside. He just a pure running back, Quentin Joyner. I expect big things from him as well. And we know that receiving core is lit. Zachariah Branch, probably the most explosive player in the country. Then you got Jacoby Lane with that Megatron potential, size, catch radius is sick and stupid, out the roof. Like Jacoby Lane, one of them receivers. If he open, if he covers, still throw it to him. If he got single coverage, he open. He that type of receiver. Put it up, back shoulder. He should be a back shoulder monster. Expect a lot of back shoulder touchdowns to Jacoby Lane. He ain't playing. Then you got Deuce Robinson, straight line speed, ridiculous, 6'5", unicorn at the wide receiver position. Can play inside, outside, can even play tight end if you want him to. That versatile. Then you got Mekhi Lemon, just a Swiss Army knife, great route runner, explosive speed. He got the complete package. He probably the most complete out of all the wide receivers on the team. Wide receiver unit gonna be lit. Right? Then, the secondary lit. Kamari Ramsey, future NFL product. So is John Humphrey, the Carlos Nicholson. Then you got Akili Arnold back there balling, right? Then you got the people that's already been there that was balling and looked good in the Louisville game, like Jalen Smith and Anthony Beeves. We had Greedy Vance come on from Florida State. The DB room is stacked. Like these Big Ten teams, we know they like to run, but whenever they decide to drop back to pass, any Big Ten team that's not Ohio State in the top of the top, they gonna have problems dropping back and passing against our defense, right? They gonna fake. That's the best secondary in the Big Ten. I don't care. John Humphrey, that's NFL. He's going to the NFL. Kamari Ramsey, true sophomore, he already showed he's going to the NFL. He's an NFL talent. The Carlos Nicholson, NFL, 6'3", long rangey, he will get drafted. Them three players right there, that's guaranteed to get drafted in the NFL out that secondary. And then you just add heady players that's smart and always at the right place and time with Akili Arnold, type safety, very fundamentally sound, great mental game, tough, could tackle, right? Then you got dudes like Anthony Beeves, versatile, just a playmaker out there. Jalen Smith, we seen how he looked at safety. He had 12 tackles against Louisville. Let's go. So that secondary, then like I said, Greedy Vance. Then you got young dudes coming in like Marcellus Williams and Isaiah Rubin and Braylon Conley. Man, that secondary is it's the best in the Big Ten, hands down, right? Then that linebacker core, nasty too when I look at it. Mascus Renus, Arnold Hunter, tackle linebacker. Mason Cobb, I think he gonna look way better under this system. We gonna see the Oklahoma State Mason Cobb. Then you got the unicorn in Eric Gentry, the 6'7" linebacker. He nice at linebacker, right? And then you still got Rajon Davis, right? Very athletic, fast. He gonna look better in this system as well. Then you got the true freshman Elijah Newby, looking nice, right? Then you got Desmond Stevens and Jaden Walker. Other like linebacker room, nice too, with a great coach. Matt Entz gonna have them boys coached up right. They gonna be fundamentally sound. That probably be the most fundamentally sound unit on the team, period, is that linebacker unit. I done checked out Matt Entz. He's a genius. He's very smart. He's like the equivalent to Lincoln Riley, but on defense, believe me. And I'm talking about technique. Like, I done peeped Matt Entz out. He's a powerhouse. He's going to be a head coach one day for sure. And then that's when I get to the defensive line. Or I like the edge. I need Jamil Muhammad to be more consistent. Some games, Jamil Muhammad look dominant. And some games, it's like you didn't even notice him out there on the field. So I need Jamil Muhammad to be more consistent. I think that dog work going to help with that. Brandon Shelby at the edge. I love that. That kid's a monster. He's 6'5". He got NFL potential all over him. If he just live up to 80 to 90% of his potential, he's going to be a star. He's got first round potential in him as an edge rusher. Braylon Shelby, I like him at the edge, right? So I like the edge position. And then just the edge/end period, right? So then the edge rushers and at the other ends, I like Elijah Hughes, right? I think Anthony Lucas, another kid, I feel like he finally finna start balling. If he ain't gonna ball under Eric Heney, then he ain't gonna never ball. But this kid got too much talent to not make an impact. Last year he played, but he didn't make no impact. You didn't feel his presence on the field. I don't remember him really making no plays. I feel like that's going to change. I don't feel like he's going to go from making no plays to dominating, but I feel like he's going to make an impact, and I feel like he gonna get some sacks. I feel like he gonna play. I feel like we finally gonna see it because I believe in our coaching staff, and the kid did have a talent. Alex Grinch made him drop like 20-30 pounds. I think that hurt him and took his hand out the dirt and got him standing up, right? So Anthony Lucas is a big question mark, but I think this is going to be his best opportunity, and I feel like we're going to see something out of him. And Elijah Hughes, we've seen the flashes from him at defensive end. He's also a defensive end that could play inside and outside, both of them. Anthony Lucas and Elijah Hughes, they could play inside and outside, but their best position is on the outside, right? So I like the outside people. Devon Tompkins, been in the program a couple of years, came in light. He up to par now, but I think he like 280 now, something 280. I think he like 280 something, close to 290. Came in at like 230, right? So he's a kid that we redshirted, that we done had in the cut with plenty talent, former basketball player, uber athlete. I like the potential. I like him. I like what we got at these ends. Then I look on the inside. I see 4 deep on the inside, right? Bear Alexander, check. Gavin Meyer, check. Kobe Pepe, Nate Clifton, right? Now, this is where I feel where it can make or break our season at, in the middle at the tackles, right? Because that position is a heavy grind. It's a heavy position. So that 2 deep is decent, right? If you tell me them 4 players gonna stay healthy all season, then maybe we got something. But if any injury happened in that inside, any knick-knack injury, it ain't even got to be season ending. Even if it's for a couple games, now the inside, you only 3 deep. Now you only 3 deep on the inside at defensive tackle and nose tackle. You only 3 deep. Them 3 gonna get wore out. They're gonna be tired. They're gonna be tired. Now that don't mean they can't hold it down and ball. But the fresher your defensive alignment is, the better. Defensive alignment plays better when they're fresh. A lot of teams that ain't got great defensive line, the other teams wear their defensive line down for 3 quarters. And then you see in the 4th quarter, they start popping plays, popping big plays. Quarterbacks start getting a lot of time, a lot of protection. Because guys is kind of winded. You don't want your defensive tackle and nose tackle on half a tank in the middle of the game or going into the 3rd and 4th quarter. You want them close as fresh as possible. And the defensive line that can rotate and can stay fresh and don't get winded and don't start feeling fatigue, that's going to give a defensive line its best chance. That's how you work that. Keep them fresh. Keep them fresh, right? And that preserves for the next week in this whole grind for the season, right? So the inside interior, you at least want out of two man position, you at least on the inside, you at least want to be able to go 3 deep, just in case injury and then just attrition, fatigue. You want to be able to rotate them to keep them fresh. So I was thinking, right? The way this team is going to win 10 plus games, that's the only way to stop us. I losing more is because somebody ran the ball on us and played time of possession, because I feel like our offense, right, is going to be prolific. And the game plan to beat us is going to be run the ball. We think USC soft. They automatically going to test us in the run game. LSU, SEC school, then Michigan, and then, these Big Ten, Wisconsin, they're going to test us in the run game. They think we soft up the middle. They think we soft. We feel like we have missed assignments, gap integrity loss, horrible scheme. That's why I look like that. But the perception is, in these Big Ten teams, they're going to think we soft. So they're going to try to run right up the middle on us. They're going to try to grind us down and welcome us to the Big Ten. So that great secondary ain't going to be the first thing tested and picked on. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be that run defense. For one, we think you soft. For two, we want to keep Lincoln Riley offense off the field. So if we could go 3 deep to where we could have a combo of Bear and let's say Kobe, and then Nate and Gavin, or however you want to do it. You could go Bear and Gavin, then Nate, then Kobe, or Bear and Nate and Kobe and Gavin, whatever, right? I need a young freshman. We got 3 of them coming in that got the size to play the inside. We got Ratu, we got G-Day, and we got Carlin Jones. If them 3, or at least 2 out of them 3, if we could get them up to speed where they playing ahead of the curve, where they could be serviceable as true freshmen, when we put them in the game, it's not a major drop off, right? If we could be fortunate, if Coach Henney could pull a miracle, if he could, it wouldn't even be a miracle, but if he could pull a great coaching job. G-Day already been here since the spring. That's cool. So he ahead of the curve. So if he could get Carlin and Ratu up to speed to where the point by the time the season start, they able to contribute positively, not like you just putting them in there and they getting blew up. No, if we could get them up to speed where they could compete, where they could at least be at the level of the backups, you know what I'm saying? If they at least could be at the level of Kobe Pepe or Nate Clifton, we can't really probably expect them to be at the level of Bear, right? But if they could be at the level of all the other defensive linemen, I think it's possible. Maybe not Nate Clifton. I mean, man's a senior, been playing in the SEC, right? But if they could get up to speed and we could develop them fast enough to where they could give us 10 to 15 snaps a game, or 10 good was that. We don't need that many. I mean, how many plays teams run a game? About 70, 80, right? So I say we only need probably like 10 to 15 out of them. Just enough to keep the front line, just enough to keep Bear and Gavin and Nate fresh. Because if they come into the fourth quarter fresh and every snap they have fresh, it's more likely that they're going to be able to make plays, get sacks, put pressure on the quarterback, put pressure on the run game. Right? So these three players, G.D. Abasari, Carlon Jones, and Ratu, they going to decide if USC an 8-win team or a 10+ win team. Like, if you tell me that Carlon Jones and G.D. Abasari made a positive impact they first year at USC, I say we win 10 games. Because on paper, y'all, that's really our only weakness, the interior defensive line, right? And our edges need to be more consistent. I feel like Braylon Shelby gonna do what he do and what we expect him to do this sophomore year, right? I expect him to do that. Jamil Muhammad, I need him to be more consistent. We gonna see. I feel like with this new coaching staff, he gonna be a little more consistent. Elijah Hughes, Flash, he gonna get more playing time. If he play like he do when he get his opportunity, that's decent. He gonna cause problems. And can we get Anthony Lucas, the former 5-star, to play hit to his potential? Right? So it's the interior. Right? Everybody on the outside has either shown flashes or have uber talent. Kobe Pepe don't necessarily have uber talent. He got uber size, 6'3", 330. But till this point, maybe he fell victim to Alex Grinch too. But to this point, it don't seem like he oozing with uber talent. You know what I'm saying? Gavin Meyer, Nate Clifton, it don't necessarily seem like they oozing with uber talent. They good players, but I don't think we expect them to be dominant per se. Anthony Lucas have the potential to be dominant, even though he didn't make no plays last year. Braylon Shelby as well. And then you got the young true freshman. I think we all just know Cameron Fountain. I could put money that kid is gonna be dominant. And he probably, and if Jamil Muhammad, Braylon Shelby, Elijah Hughes, Anthony Lucas, if they ain't being productive and getting pressure on the quarterback on the outside, you best believe they finna throw Cameron Fountain in there. And he's going to get pressure. So Cameron Fountain is going to put pressure on that edge room. I'm telling you that I like the edge. It's that inside. We ain't got that uber talent on the inside. We got 5-star talent on the outside. So on the inside, we need the true freshmen, 2 out of that 3, to play for us and be able to ball. And if they could play for us and be able to ball, then we ain't weak up the middle. Bear Alexander and Gavin Meyer and Nate Clifton ain't weak, right? Kobe Pepe is a big man. So that top 4, I feel like hold their own, especially with that dog work. And then if they got 2 more behind them to keep the whole group fresh, then I think that's where we turn the tide on the inside to where, okay, we kind of strong on the inside. Right now, we kind of weak and shaky, but there's two more players on the inside. There's 2 out of them 3 freshmen will tilt the balance for that defensive line, especially in the middle. Now we good. Now this defense could really show the majesty of the Anton Lynn system, right? Because it's predicated on the D-line able to get pressure without blitzing all the time and stopping the run. That's what his defense predicated on, to get you in the passing game where he throw all them confusing coverages that confuse his quarterbacks, right? See, that's Deontay Lynn brilliance. The way he called a game and how he confused his quarterbacks. So if he just got a defensive line that's good, a good defensive line, the rest, he gonna call a great game behind that. He got a great scheme behind that. But the scheme ain't gonna matter as much if quarterbacks got all day to throw, and if running backs is averaging 6-7 yards a carry, right? So that's the key to this season. We got to get them young freshmen, 2 out of that 3, to ball, y'all, and we gonna win 10 games. If we don't win 10 games and we struggle this season, it's because up the middle, because we couldn't hold it down on the inside. And I done went over the roster, went over the schedule, went over the scenario, telling you this is what it is. Now, if them 2 freshmen out of them 3 don't ball, then we got to have health on our sides and development. All right. Now, if them 2 freshmen can't step up, then Bear even got to take it to the next level. Bear got to be that superstar. He's the all-star right now, for sure. He need to knock it up to the superstar then, right? Nate Clifton gonna have to stay healthy, be the consistent player he is. Gavin Meyer gonna have to knock it up a notch. He playing that Wyoming. Now, I seen the kid against Texas, and he did his thing against that offensive line. So I got confident that he could do his thing against the Big Ten. He did his thing against Texas. Texas was in the playoffs. He did his thing against the playoff team. But he gonna have to prove it, be able to do that for a whole season, though. It's different between doing that for a season. Because you could do that, like we didn't see Appalachian State upset Michigan, right? But them players probably couldn't do that every week, but they was able to do that day, right? So he got the ability. Is he going to be able to do it in and week out and stay healthy? Right? And then the same thing with Kobe Pepe. He got the size. He got the ability, but can he put it together and do it? We will need all 4 of them to stay healthy and to get and be better than they was before. Then okay. But it's a lot to ask all 4 to stay healthy for all games. It's a lot to ask players that's seniors like Clifton and Meyer and Kobe to get better. I mean, usually most players make that jump from freshman to sophomore. They should be at their peak. But things happen during development, coaches changes, negative coaches, and all types of things, right? The more feasible route, right, I think is to get Carlin Jones, G.J. Albaseri, and Ratu up to speed. Now, if they got that and we depth and they fresh, that front 4 ain't necessarily all got to take a great step forward. They definitely can't go back, and they definitely need to perform better. But I'm just talking about just taking it to a next level to their game. It's hard to expect all 4 of them to take the next step, like push it up another notch, right? Bear, I think we expect him to push it up another notch, right? Gavin Meyer, I think we kind of expect him a little bit. No, Kobe Pepe, we expect him to push it up to another notch because before he been on 0, he ain't been up no notches so far. So I think we expect Bear to kick it up another notch, and we expect Kobe to kick it up another notch. But maybe Nate Clifton and Gavin Meyer, who's senior, maybe they at their peak. I don't think we just hope that they be as good as they was in their previous spots in Vanderbilt and Wyoming, right? So we need them freshmen. 2 out of them 3 freshmen need to step up and be serviceable and able to play 10 to 15 snaps a game. So what y'all think, man? The G.J. Albaseri, it's Carlin Jones and Ratu. It's the development of them young dudes, the most important to the team to be successful. Because I think every other group has a floor that's good enough to be successful on their end. So the floor of the offense, I feel like, will be good enough to be successful. That the floor of the offense is at least 30, 35 points a game, I feel. Right? The floor of the secondary is very good. They ceiling is elite. But the floor of that secondary is very good. That linebacking core is good, right? The floor is good. The potential is elite, right? Or very good. It's the defensive line. The defensive line floor could be very bad, right? Either from attrition or getting wore out during the games, because you only could go so deep, right? So that's the only area of the team where I see could be not good. Every other area could be very good. The offensive line, the wide receiver core, the running backs, the DBs, the linebackers, and the edge. Just that interior. If we had an interior, if our interior show up, it's night. We winning 10 games. Bet on it, right? So we gonna see, y'all Trojan fans. Tell me what y'all think. Is G-Day adversary Carlon Jones and Rod Tool, is they the most important players in development to this team to be successful? Or is it just that top four on the inside having good luck and escaping attrition? So y'all let me know in the comments, man. Until then, it's your boy Carter Sports. It's Trojan City. It's USC. So let's go.